Hey guys, it's Kusi. Welcome back to the already 4th episode of me trying to replace my trinkets with anything, yeah, anything, while just ending up getting blacked, the WoW edition. In this Zero to Hero Retribution Paladin. In the last episode, we not only ended our second week of
Procrastinating.
rating gains by grinding ourselves to a promising vault that, well, I must say under-delivered a bit. While already starting to set up a new vault that, spoilers, will be the fattest one yet. Speaking of, we will also step foot into our highest key yet, which was even sweatier than the Pokimane meet and greet. Not only did we stack that one by doing keys, but I'm so determined to finally get trinkets to replace my 580 sack nibbler tooth that even delves and an heroic rate is inbound. And guess what? It finally happened. So you better make sure to saddle up your horses, pull on your helmet, cause safety first, and let's have a good time. Oh yeah, that mentioned vault, we will open at the end of the video, because first, we do have to grind out some keys. And if that sounds like an episode you want to go over on twitch.tv/CozySlayer, just so you can click on the YouTube link, which gets you back on this channel so you can finally subscribe, then go on twitch.tv/CozySlayer, press the YouTube link and... Bro, I wasn't done with the intro. Alright, so we ended the last episode with your average 48 death Stonevault run that had everything from big pew pew, racial battle shouts, and locking out DPS from bosses, which in the end gave us nothing but experience and the friends we made along.
Man, shut your bitch ass up!
So here's what I did. Do you remember the normal raid I did the other day?
Yes.
So my guild wanted to do heroic raid as well. And before you say, oh but why about doing gameplay, you German reader? Hear me out. I checked. Our guild only killed one boss in heroic. So this is far from a boost. However, because I didn't get shit from this, even though we killed boss 2 to 4, I will keep this short. Look at this damage, dude. See it here in my ass. However, as I mentioned, the raid didn't lead to anything besides me getting one hero vault slot from this, and so our path continues in the same direction we came from.
Huh?
And if that sounds confusing, let me show you what I mean. Stone Vault, baby. I was done messing around. I only applied for Vault, Kara, and Grim Blast Hole in order to get what I need. And instead of French, we got Germans. Not sure if that's better. Also, why does every German server has the word black in it? The only thing that's dark about us is our history. However, this run already started off a lot cleaner. And what else happened? I got myself another crafted item. I followed the footsteps of Radar.io degens and got myself the second embellishment that pretty much just enhances my weapon embellishment by 100%. And because plate is expensive as hell, I went with the cloak. Saved me some bucks for sure. To be fair, I would have loved to have the flat mastery embellishment from Dragonflight for this bad boy, but it is what it is. Coming up to the first boss, I just want to say again, I love Herald and Mythic Plus. The single target damage it provides is so much more reliable than Templar, even though I'm curious to do another Templar key in the future, just to see how hard this bitch can crit now. So here's one thing that messed me up, because I used my cooldowns before the boss died, my timing was off throughout this entire trash phase. I always just set it up in the middle of the fight, which is okay since the damage is still strong, but it slightly tanks my overall eventually. And just to mess with me, the tank here did some weird dark magic bullshit to summon a swirly right under my feet as I was happily bunny hopping. I don't know how I explain me dying otherwise. But hey, Skarmorer comes around, your boy pumps. The perverted dwarf and his double blowhole blaster robot came around, your boy was not holding back by all means. And then the most annoying of them all, not because it's the hardest by all means, but because this one is usually the last thing I see before utter disappointment in the dungeon chest. But not this time, baby. Not only am I able to replace this dog shit unused 2-minute CD, low ass stat giving item that not only needs a cast time, a goat offering and a Michael Jackson moonwalk performance to do its magic, it's also replaced by arguably the biggest item. But whole trinket. Shut up, it's my series. Shard's the best. However, now it begs the question that I've been asking myself more often than I can remember.
Right? Am I Pat?
And the answer is yes. You see, do I replace active for active trinket, or do I try to roll with double active simply because our cooldowns are so low that you can easily have them both used almost at all times? So that's what I tried. I applied forever and ever to get myself into an Arakara key just to potentially get lucky in the Gluck Gluck Double Twister Trinket edition. And eventually, I got in. Now, here's something I need to show you. In my streams, I always preach to simply put in a note whenever you apply. It either can be something useful, like letting them know you have foresight, a big weapon, or, perfect hairline, but it can also be some bullshit to potentially make them giggle and invite you. I'm aware that not everybody reads the notes, but I do, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is how I got invited into this key. Said some dumb shit, made the party leader chuckle, and here we are. So trying out double active trinket, I could pretty much tell you that this ain't achieved. I mean, We did top DPS on the first boss, but I may or may not sniped some ad damage like a true degen. This overall was a fierce battle of 2 paladins, all till the end, but again, I had some weird moments where we pulled and I didn't have my cooldowns ready just because I used him to finish off the last pack. Boo-hoo! He cooked me in the end, and guess what? The trinket dropped. But not for me. I reckon I still shoot my shot here, even though we all know the answer to this question anyways. After that, I did swap back to the damn blue fang as my second trinket choice, and even though I really wanted to upgrade some items badly, I thought it might be smarter to wait for the vault to happen first. At this point, my vault was also very much stacked, but I wanted to go further. And here comes the determination into play. You see, the following dungeons were recorded in between 2 12-hour shifts. Yeah, I get home, got like 3 hours to chill before going to bed. And this is what I do. Like and subscribe for the absolute hustle, man. Disregarding, I, of course, got stuck with a 6 necrotic wank again. This thing is haunting me and absolutely nobody and their mother want to deal with this shit on midnight just before reset. So I named it +4 just to see if that works. And it did. So I lowered it like a little bitch, even though I absolutely believe I could go higher at this point. And here, multiple things happened. First, we got ourselves a Demon Hunter and a Devoker, which I personally am a big enjoyer of. Secondly, our tank pulled so much in the beginning, no way we're gonna have to run back to start after the dungeon, which is also nice. Spoiler though, we did slightly overpull. The third thing that happened this run is that your boy finally made use of proper utility as Lay on Hands was pretty much always on cooldown to save somebody's ass. This spell got used on the first boss to get rid of the disease, and of course, big pops. But hey, don't worry, some misplaced too. Here I wanted to use the shield, which is a big party-wide damage reduction for this nasty quadruple caster pack so we could reduce the casualties. But as soon as I did, I died. The irony, man. I was too confused on figuring out my active or news button, and so I got clipped by the big AoE on the floor. And when I say clipped, I mean I stood absolutely in that, no questions asked. Oh, and hey, look at that. I'm also sacking people without consent. But hey, can we quickly talk about how much trash is required in order to time this wank of a key? Like for real? Hell, if you pull the entire dungeon, you are only at 123.8%. The fact that you leave out very little trash is actually insane. However, you can actually skip the nasty 4-caster pack quite easily if you have a lock, priest or maybe party-wide stealth, by just pulling one of the nasty casters in the beginning. On Fortified, probably a reasonable shout if you got a way to skip them. Disregarding, once you're at the second boss, you want to be at 77% trash, as everything else up on the Citadel is not optional and will be required to take out. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the best pull on Dr. Flashlight Abuser I had in all season. So far, unedited, real speed, sit down and enjoy the pumping of this party. Yeah, I know it's just a +4, but come on. You don't see that shit that often. 48 seconds for this dude only was nutty, and then we got plenty of time to potentially 2-chest this bad boy in the end. Which, eventually we did. Which means now we got another +6 that hopefully is not Necrotic Wake again. I don't think you can get the same key, but I'm not ruling it out at this point. And to this tank, who just hyped me up so much after the run, cause he seemingly recognized the character, thank you, man. It's always so cool to meet you guys in game, cause it's so unreal to me. Thank you for your kind words, really makes the grind worthwhile. However, enough with the emotional girl stuff. Let's talk about our highest key so far. I did get a +6 Borealos, and even though I was legit looking for over half an hour, I finally got myself a party seemed worthy. The only member I wasn't sure about was our healer, as I'm always very careful when it comes to gamers applying in multiple roles this early in the season. But because it's 2 hours pre-reset, and call me a pussy for that, cause I really wanted to sleep, I took the lizard hailing from Draenor EU anyways and prayed that he would teach me a lesson in trust. And so it begins. Almost smoothly, because of course there has to be this one guy that's allergic to clean sheets, we sailed towards the first boss. Get it? Sailed, cause it's about pirates. I got it, baby. And for those of you that don't know, let's talk about the bosses in here. Chopper himself is not really tankable as it targets range DPS or healers in order to charge towards them. When you're targeted, your duty is to kite them through these bombs on the ground, as we need to get rid of them before they explode. Every time that happens, he will hook onto another player and repeats the cycle. If you fail to blow him off, up, he will hook everybody into a big AoE similar to the big bulky Kultiran mobs leading up to this boss. When it comes to the rest of the bombs, because he won't be able to use them all on the boss, the tank preferably pulls the cleaver into them. If any of the bombs go off by themselves, we are talking party-wide damage. I personally just ensure I smack down the powder shot ranges as they are doing random damage to the party. And after that, I go ham for the boss. At one point in time, I decided to take matters into my own hands by using bubble to explode the bombs myself, simply because my party wasn't able to trigger them for some weird ass reason. We lost 2, beat the boss. I'ma call worth. The good thing about this dungeon is that this boss is the only one with actual mechanics. Second one is more self-explaining than the filled up diaper. Attack boss, attack adds, bring boss back, attack boss. Oh yeah, and dodge, obviously. Same principle for the third boss. Dodge the frontal, dodge the swirlies, and dodge the waves using this big ass statue in the middle. Even though they added the second wave, I remember that this boss was a lot more intense back in BFA, just by the amount of group-wide damage he dished out. So far, the only one that made this run interesting was our healer, as he dirt-napped a lot during trash and boss fights. Which brings us to the last boss. This thing also got gutted, but here it really showed me that the theory about multi-role gamers is not incorrect. Our healer was so overwhelmed with everything happening, and mind you, after they nerfed this boss so hard, it ain't much happening at all. In BFA, the demolishing tentacle actually not only respawned, but multiple spawned as well, which means you had to balance the damage between them and the gripping tentacle to further progress into the fight. Not anymore though, only one demo happens, and that's that. It does some group damage now, but it's so easily manageable, it's not even funny. The only thing that can set you back as a healer is the dispel. That thing slaps insanely hard, so you want to make sure to dispel somebody ASAP, preferably a melee so they can keep stacking, but make sure they aren't stacked on the moment of the dispel, as that will yeet them back and potentially drop them into the water. After killing both tentacles, you shoot the cannon and repeat that 2 more times. That's it. Now here's what can make things worse. The magic debuff not taken seriously is one of them. The other thing is the tank moving away from the demolishing floppy dick. If the tank isn't close enough, it will attack the closest person instead, and that's one of your melee DPS, so GG. And we could not handle this. Our healer failed to top us off after every slam, which prompted a dot to either kill one of us, first tick, or force big cooldowns like bubble. I'm still not certain if you want to potentially split the damage on them, or if you want to nuke down the demo first, but our healer was struggling a lot. So we went again. And I got killed because I was standing too close to the boss, even though I didn't do anything else the entire pull. But I guess the tank moved too far away. I was closest for a couple of times though, but he just chose violence this time. With no CR in sight, this was a goner. Finishing the key with 18 seconds overtime, which was super annoying, getting a ring that I neither could trade or use, also annoying, and ending the week on a bummer, also very annoying. With that being said, 1732 in rating, which means we didn't get too much progress today, but I was mainly focused on getting gear upgrades, which worked a little bit in form of the shard trinket. Yet, we are talking vault, and that one was packed. Surely I get something massive. Huh? Wait, but 616 trinket, surely that's an upgrade. Oh man.